Before we start this video, I want you to do something. Take a glass of regular milk and try to write something on paper. You can pause, I'll wait. Have you tried it? Now imagine that this simple test you just did hides one of the most extraordinary secrets of World War I. A story so incredible that, if it weren't documented, no one would believe it. And before you think this is just another internet conspiracy theory, here's a warning. Prepare yourself to discover how a group of ordinary mothers transformed into one of the most efficient spy networks that ever existed. London, 1914. The world is at war. In the streets, people run to shelters while air raid sirens cut through the air. But in a small cafe in the city center, something extraordinary is happening. An ordinary woman, whom we'll call Margaret, sits calmly drinking tea. It seems like a normal scene except for one detail. In her bag, there's a flask containing information that could change the course of the war. They're not documents. They're not photographs. It's something far more valuable. Throughout this video, I'll reveal 3 crucial details that will help you understand how this extraordinary story remained secret for so long. And believe me, the 3rd detail will make you rethink everything you know about espionage. To understand the genius of this operation, we need to go back in time. World War I wasn't just a trench war, it was an information war. Every troop movement, every attack plan, needed to be communicated in secret. The problem? The Germans had developed advanced chemical methods to detect any known type of invisible ink. Messages were intercepted daily. Agents were captured. The Allied spy network was practically paralyzed. The MI6, the British Secret Service, was desperate for a solution. They tested everything: fruit juices, vinegar, even urine. Nothing worked perfectly. The answer would come from the most unlikely place possible. One autumn morning, an MI6 agent, who was also a mother, was breastfeeding her baby while analyzing secret documents. A drop of milk fell onto an important paper. Hours later, when accidentally heating this same paper, she noticed something extraordinary. But before revealing what she discovered, I need you to understand what makes breast milk so special. And here's our first crucial detail. Unlike any other natural liquid, breast milk contains a unique combination of proteins that react to heat in a very particular way. Pause the video now and try to guess why this would be important for espionage. I'll give you 5 seconds. The answer is fascinating. When heated to the right temperature, breast milk creates perfectly visible brownish golden marks. But not just any breast milk, it needs to have the exact protein composition. And here begins the most incredible part of this story. The first tests were conducted in absolute secrecy. A team of MI6 chemists worked day and night to understand exactly how it worked. The results exceeded all expectations. Messages were completely invisible when dry. The text only appeared when heated to the correct temperature. After cooling, the text disappeared again. No known chemical could detect it. It was impossible to reproduce in a laboratory. But the true genius lay in something no one had considered. What German guard would suspect a mother carrying milk for her baby? Now, imagine the logistical challenge. MI6 needed to create a network of donor mothers without raising suspicion. And here's a detail that will surprise you. They were recruited from the most unlikely places. Sarah Thompson, not a real name of course, was head nurse at a London hospital. During the day, she cared for wounded soldiers. At night, she coordinated a network of 30 donor mothers. Her codename? The Milk Guardian. Each donor received a number. None knew the others' identities. Some were officers' wives, others were hospital staff. There was even a princess among them. Her identity remains classified to this day. The system was ingenious. Collections took place in legitimate breastfeeding clinics, but there was a special room, known only as Room 7. There, the milk destined for espionage was processed and stored in specially developed flasks. A fascinating detail. Each flask had a microscopic mark identifying its origin. If an agent was captured, MI6 would know exactly which part of the network was compromised. It's incredible to think that some of these marks were only discovered decades later, when the archives were partially released. Let's pause to understand the science behind all this. And prepare yourself because this is truly impressive. Breast milk contains a protein called casein. When heated to exactly 78 degrees Celsius, no more no less, it undergoes a fascinating chemical transformation. The molecules reorganize, forming a structure that reflects light in a very specific way. To demonstrate, I'll conduct an experiment. Observe how the text slowly appears. It's almost magical, isn't it? But it's pure chemistry. The Germans never discovered the secret for a simple reason. They were looking for artificial chemical substances. They never imagined the answer lay in nature itself. And here's another surprising detail. Each donor produced slightly different ink. Some messages appeared in sepia, others in dark brown. This unintentionally became an additional coding system. Now let's talk about the missions. And brace yourself because some of these sound like spy movie scripts. Operation Nursery, Belgium, 1916. A network of mothers managed to map the entire German supply line using messages written in breast milk. The result? 3 months later, all enemy logistics were compromised. Operation Breastfeeding, France, 1917. A single message, written in breast milk, revealed the location of 5 German submarine bases. The impact was so significant that the Germans spent months trying to understand how their invisible bases had been discovered. But not everything was successful. There were moments of extreme tension. One agent, known only as M23, was stopped at a German inspection. She was carrying a crucial message about troop movements. When the guards took the flask of milk, she did something extraordinary. She began breastfeeding her baby right there, in front of them. What guard would suspect that this maternal scene was hiding vital war information? This is the kind of courage that doesn't appear in history books. Ordinary women performing extraordinary acts protected by the last thing anyone would suspect, motherhood. There's one particularly impressive case that was only revealed 50 years later. In 1917, a crucial message needed to cross Germany. The plan? A network of 5 mothers, all with babies, traveling by train as refugees. Each carried only part of the message. If one was captured, the information would remain incomplete. For 3 days, they traveled separately, changing trains, always breastfeeding their babies in public. The perfect camouflage. The message reached its destination and revealed plans for a chemical attack that would have devastated London. Thousands of lives were saved by a few drops of breast milk. But the impact of this operation goes far beyond World War I. And here's the third crucial detail I promised at the beginning. This operation completely changed how we think about espionage. For the first time, it was proven that the best intelligence operations don't depend on advanced technology, but on solutions that hide in plain sight. Today, intelligence agencies worldwide study the breast milk case as a perfect example of how simplicity and nature can overcome any technology. In recently released MI6 archives, there's a fascinating note from a senior officer, written in 1919. Our greatest victory wasn't creating a perfect invisible ink, it was proving that the best way to hide something is to place it where no one would think to look. This principle revolutionized modern espionage. Today, the world's largest intelligence agencies maintain entire departments dedicated to studying nature-based solutions. In 2010, a 92-year-old lady caught the attention of the British press. On her deathbed, she revealed to her family that she had been one of the donors. For decades, not even her own children knew their mother had been a war heroine. Every time I nursed my children, she wrote in her diary, I remembered that this same milk was saving lives across the English Channel. Now think about this. While great armies clashed with tanks and planes, while scientists developed increasingly deadly weapons, a group of mothers was silently changing the course of history with something as simple and natural as their own milk. It's a powerful lesson about how sometimes the most effective solutions are in the most unlikely places, and about how true innovation doesn't need to be complex, it needs to be intelligent. This story teaches us something profound about creativity in times of crisis. It reminds us that sometimes the best technology is no technology at all. It's simply understanding and using nature to our advantage. If you've made it this far, congratulations. You now know one of the best-kept secrets in military history. A story that proves sometimes the greatest revolutions start in the most natural way possible. The next time someone says they know all the stories from World War I, tell them about the mothers who defeated the German intelligence service with nothing more than breast milk. If this story impressed you as much as it impressed me, share it. Some stories are too good to be kept hidden. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Next week, I'll reveal another surprising secret from the Great Wars that will make you question everything you thought you knew about espionage. If this video left you wanting more, hit the like button and leave a comment telling me what other hidden stories from history you'd like to hear about.